So like, Perna, are you done now? Like, are you off the train? Like, is it over?
Sadly, we can't get off. We can't get off the ride, Tom.
No, what I mean for
We're
you, no, the ride
trapped.
never ends, my friend. But I'm saying like expectations now for the season.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
was it like it's done? Like, it's
It was
cool.
it was
That's it.
done after we lost to the Jets. It was done after we lost to the Jets. Um, but I think just seeing the defense give the Broncos a chance last night and the offense do literally nothing. Yeah, we're right back to where we were. Nothing's better. Nothing's fixed. You know, when the defense is playing really bad, but your offense is scoring points and kind of hanging in
Sure.
games, you're like, hey, you know, couple plays might fall in the Broncos' favor. Just don't see that happening this season. Now, a lot of people are saying that the Broncos are trying to tank. And there's a clip back before or during, I don't remember. Sean Payton said Caleb Williams is the kind of quarterback that teams would tank for. He said that back in the early spring.
I think he's a generational player now. I've seen 3 or 4 games, obviously not as much as I would if I was truly doing the evaluation. But at some point, especially with the relationship our league has in gaming now, at some point, we're going to move to a lottery system in the NFL. Because this is a player that possibly does that.
In every team, I think their fan base kind of does this when they're really bad. They're like, oh, we're tanking.
Yeah.
But like
Because
the
it's like
Broncos,
trying to justify, like,
right.
hey, no, we're like sucking on purpose. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
And either Sean Payton is terrible as a head coach, as an offensive head coach, or he truly is like, you know what, I don't want to give the team the best chance to win. Because a guy like Marvin Mims, who has been a huge bright spot on the offense all season, 29% of the snaps last night. 29% of the snaps from
Sure.
one of your biggest receiving playmakers. Now, is that tanking, or were they trying to get Jerry Jeudy more looks so they can
So
up
they can trade him.
his trade value? I don't know.
Well, but that, Perna, you and I have talked about this now numerous times. And the expectation as a Broncos fan heading into the season that if you were bad, it was going to be because of one person, and that was Russell Wilson. Now,
Yep.
Russell Wilson has not had back-to-back games have not been good for Russell Wilson, right?
Correct.
But I think you're also looking at this and be like, before that, it wasn't a Russell Wilson problem. It was more of a defensive problem. You could look at coaching. And now to answer that question, like, is Sean Payton the issue? And like, how do you even begin to evaluate that? Because they're like, all right, worst case scenario, it's a great QB class. It would suck. We'd have to take our lumps, but we could draft a QB and we'd be fine.
Yep.
But if Sean Payton is the problem, then it's like, oh crap, did we just make 2 big trades in back-to-back seasons and none of them have panned out?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, I don't think that's the right marriage. I think we were hoping it could be, and it looked like it might be early, but those two, oil and water. I just don't think they're a personality fit. I don't think they're a scheme fit. Even when we signed Sean Payton, we're like, Russell Wilson and Drew Brees are very, very different quarterbacks. And one of the first things Payton said about Russell Wilson was like, Drew Brees kept calling me and saying, you gotta consider Russell Wilson because he's driving me crazy. The first thing he said about Russ was like this weird sort of like diss on him. You know what I mean? So do I think Sean Payton would be much better with a young quarterback that can kind of mold and groom into his system? Yeah, I do. Do I trust Sean Payton to fix what our defense is? Do I trust his free agent eyeballs? Do I trust George Payton's free agent eyeballs? I don't know. I think George Payton, pretty good at drafting and evaluating draft talent.
Sure.
But I don't know what the Broncos are doing free agency. So to put it simply, I've got way more questions about this team for the rest of this season, for next season, even if they draft their quarterback. Don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate issue because you and I talked about this last night about being a fan of a bad football team, right? and about things getting better. Now, the Broncos, the past 2 seasons, why there was so much optimism is because you thought that they were taking the steps to get better. They make a blockbuster trade. First, they get Nathaniel Hackett, right, which is like the big coaching signing because he was the big coach that everybody wanted. You get Nathaniel Hackett. You go and you make a big trade for Russell Wilson. The Nathaniel Hackett doesn't even last a season. Then they're like, okay, never mind. This is the big guy. We're going to get Sean Payton out of retirement. We're going to get him. We're going to bring him in. And now we're here. Bless you. And
Thank
so, like,
you.
that's the frustrating part because you're like, crap, we already did this. And, like, there's similarities between, like, the Bears and the Broncos in that sense of, like, hey, it was, like, kind of promised, like, this season's going to be different.
Yeah.
And you could only believe that so many times where you're like, I just don't believe you no more.
Yeah. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, don't get fooled again.
It just seems like nobody's happy in Denver right now.
No? True. I mean, Nuggets and Avalanche fans are, but yeah, other than that, you're right.
I meant players on the Broncos team right now.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm
But-
trying to divert. Let's get to another thing. Let's
yeah, you
do
just try to
something.
sell. Just try to sell everything that you possibly can.